This week on ANN, a mega multifaceted health clinic in the U.S. state of California provides free services to more than 8,000 people.
Seventh-day Adventist Hospital in Germany is nationally recognized for its care of victims of female genital mutilation.
And a vice chancellor is inaugurated for one of the church's most renowned educational institutions in Africa.
These stories and more coming up.
This is ANN, a service of the Seventh-day Adventist World Church.
Thanks so much for joining us this week.
First in the news, more than 8,000 people in the city of Los Angeles received free medical and dental services through a mega health clinic organized by the Seventh-day Adventist Church. More than 4,000 Adventist medical professionals and volunteers traveled to the U.S. state of California to serve residents during the Your Best Pathway to Health Los Angeles event. The clinic provided more than $30 million worth of services during the three-day event. The Seventh-day Adventist Church in North America sent this report.
Los Angeles is the second largest city in the United States, with a population of nearly 4 million people. For many, it is a paradise for the rich and famous. For some, LA is known as the epicenter of the film industry, home to many legendary film studios, the famed Hollywood sign, and Hollywood Boulevard. For others, Los Angeles is synonymous with Beverly Hills, home to celebrities, the rich and powerful, and high-end luxury shopping. However, like most large urban cities, there is a reality that lies in the shadows of the glitz and glamour. According to recent data from the Institute for the Study of Homelessness and Poverty, an estimated 254,000 people, women, children, and men, experience homelessness in a given year, and approximately 82,000 people are homeless on any given night. Los Angeles also has the notoriety of having the third highest uninsured rate of all large metropolitan areas in the country. 2.7 million people, or about 28% of the population in Los Angeles County, has no medical insurance. In the City of Angels, the rate of uninsured persons, age 64 and under, is 40%. The lack of medical or dental insurance means a life of pain and suffering, enduring the distress of tooth decay, living at a disadvantage, unable to read or drive without eyeglasses. For some, diseases such as diabetes, obesity, and heart disease, undiagnosed, become ticking time bombs. The Seventh-day Adventist Church selected Los Angeles as the site of the 5th Your Best Pathway to Health, seeking to serve the medical needs of the underserved population by offering medical, dental, surgical, eye care, and other vital services. The organizers of Your Best Pathway to Health and the Adventist Church, as Christians, seek to follow the example of Jesus, meeting the health needs of the city of Los Angeles with love, compassion, and no strings attached.
We previously reported on a Seventh-day Adventist health center that addresses the physical and emotional needs of victims of female genital mutilation. That was selected to be this year's recipient of an award named after one of Germany's most notable politicians. The Desert Flower Foundation of Waldfriede Hospital in Berlin-Zehlendorf was unanimously voted to receive this year's Louise Schroeder Medal. On April 21st, Dr. Cornelius Strunst and Evelyn Brenda, who represented the entire staff of Desert Flower, were presented with the medal by Ralph Weiland, the president of the House of Representatives of Berlin. The foundation was established in 2013 under the partnership of the Waldfriede Adventist Hospital and Somalian supermodel Waris Dirie. Dirie was a victim of FGM at age 5 and has become an international activist who raises awareness of the ritual. The Desert Flower Foundation helps restore victims of female genital mutilation, which is a cultural ritual in parts of Africa and Asia. The medal's namesake, Louise Schroeder, was known as a champion for the equal treatment of women and for her efforts against injustice and abuse of power. The award is presented annually to a person or an institution representing the political and personal legacy of Louise Schroeder in an excellent manner.
In the nation of Kenya, numerous leaders from the Seventh-day Adventist Church, government officials, and dignitaries attended the inauguration ceremony of Delbert Baker, who was elected to serve as Vice Chancellor of the Adventist University of Africa, or AUA. During his remarks, Baker challenged the university family to join him in pursuing, quote, unstoppable advancement, academic excellence, and adventures under the Almighty, end quote. Also during the two-day ceremony, Blasius Fraguri, president of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in East Central Africa region, said, quote, "We are delighted to welcome Dr. Baker to the Vice Chancellorship of one of the greatest Adventist universities in the world. He has an outstanding reputation as both a denominational and academic leader in the Adventist Church. We look forward to working with him to help take AUA onward and upward," end quote. Baker has served in various leadership and educational roles, including General Vice President of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, President of Oakwood University, Special Assistant to the President and Director of Diversity at Loma Linda University, Associate Director of the Ellen G. White Estate, and Editor of Message Magazine. Though based in Kenya, AUA is directly affiliated with the Adventist Church's world headquarters and offers graduate-level education throughout Africa. Doctoral programs are taught on its main campus, and other programs, such as theology and business, are taught by revolving faculty on Adventist campuses throughout the continent.
According to a report released this week by an independent advisory body of the United States, the state of religious freedom around the world has deteriorated throughout the past 12 months. The report from the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom placed special emphasis on examining the plight of those who have been imprisoned for their beliefs and refugees who are fleeing religious persecution. Among those who fled religious abuses last year were thousands of Rohingya Muslims in Burma, an estimated 500,000 Eritreans escaping their country's repressive regime, and millions of both Christians and Muslims who were displaced by ongoing violence in Syria and Iraq. The report also added 8 more countries to its list of, quote, countries of particular concern. The countries include Egypt, Iraq, Nigeria, Pakistan, Vietnam, Tajikistan, Syria, and the Central African Republic. According to Ganoon Diop, Director of Public Affairs and Religious Liberty for the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the report's focus on prisoners of conscience is, quote, a troubling confirmation of long-standing global trends. He went on to say, quote, in reality, though, there is no way to verify the scale of this tragedy. Many cases are never publicized, and untold numbers of men and women around the world suffer imprisonment or worse under laws that enforce a particular religious worldview, end quote.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church in North America last week voted to receive governance of Christian Record Services for the Blind, which was previously an institution of the Adventist World Church. The transfer of governance affirms a larger restructuring plan that was implemented in January by action of the Christian Record Board of Directors. Christian Record, which is located in the U.S. state of Nebraska, provides Bibles, Bible study guides, and Sabbath school lessons in Braille, large print, and audio. It also offers a unique camping experience through National Camps for Blind Children. And according to Christian Record's president, Diane Thurber, the transfer will not affect the organization's goal of reaching the blind with free resources and programs. She said, quote, the decision enables Christian Record to be more intentional in its partnership with local churches in North America, Bermuda, and Micronesia, end quote. According to Dan Jackson, president of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in North America, the transfer will also help the territory enhance its interpersonal ministries. He said, quote, having Christian Record under this division's umbrella of service-driven organizations enables us to work in partnership when training and equipping local churches and disabilities ministries leaders. Our hope is that this partnership will encourage NED churches to join Christian Record's ministry of compassion to help the blind see Jesus.
6 Adventist hospitals throughout the church's territory in the Caribbean will work with a health system in Grand Cayman to provide free cardiac surgeries to children as well as minimally invasive surgeries at affordable costs. The arrangement went into effect when administrators from Health City Cayman Islands, or HCCI, and Adventist Healthcare Services Inter-America last week signed a memorandum of understanding. Adventist hospitals in the area will help screen and recruit patients with cardiac malformation from birth to the age of 18 and other medical services for adults. The memorandum also includes the establishment of catheterization laboratories managed by HCCI, as well as the acquisition of new medical equipment and pharmaceuticals at lower costs. When Shandy Abraham, CEO of Health City Cayman Islands, spoke to church leaders during the signing ceremony, he said, quote, the Seventh-day Adventist Church has mission hospitals across the Caribbean islands which align with the way we think. And Israel Leto, president of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Inter-America, spoke on the significance of the agreement. He said, quote, this joint project will expand the mission of this world-renowned institution and our Adventist hospitals to the general public where we are operating, end quote. The signed memorandum will serve as an agreement of 5 years with the option to renew for an additional 3-year period.
The official broadcast network of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Spain was invited by local Romanian churches to participate in a health exhibition in the city of Castellón with the aim of sharing the church's message of holistic health. During Expo Salud, Hope Media Spain distributed DVDs and written materials, including the church's creation film and a video that depicts a gospel message in 2 minutes. Local Romanian Adventist church members also shared information to hundreds of the exhibition's visitors on how to improve their health through small changes in their lifestyle. The members also handed out books and healthy snacks. According to Marcio Vieira, who served as coordinator for the event with Hope Media Spain and local churches, the creative outreach was well received. He said, quote, "It was an excellent opportunity to evangelize in a dynamic and creative way. Evangelistic Hope Media audiovisual products and books provided by the Romanian churches have reached many people. With traditional methods, I doubt we would have had such a success."
In Colombia's Department of Norte de Santander, the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the country's northern region last month organized a special sporting event in collaboration with local government officials. The event drew nearly 300 cycling enthusiasts and church members who rode 20 kilometers or 12 miles through the city of Cúcuta. William Villamizar, governor of Norte de Santander, along with his wife and 40 officials, also participated in the cycling event. At the end of the route, local church and community members gave the cyclists a healthy breakfast and massages. They were also invited to attend a short ceremony at the church's recreational campground in the city. During the event, Norte de Santander's governor expressed gratitude for the church's efforts to promote healthy lifestyles. He also invited all churches to, quote, "move forward with social programs such as the ones led by the Adventist Church so that we can all become a greater team for the development of Norte de Santander," end quote. Neftali Solano from the Fuerte Pregón Adventist Church said the event was more than just cycling through a city. Organizers wanted to give participants a message of hope. He said, quote, "We want them to know that Adventists are not only in the church, but we also take part in contributing to good health."
While the official broadcast network of the Adventist Church launched a channel in Korea during the denomination's General Conference session last July, the Media Center has recently adopted alternatives to sharing the gospel message in spite of national constraints on religious broadcasts. Hope Channel Korea has adopted the use of social networking service, or SNS, which includes Facebook, Twitter, and Kakao Talk. Kakao Talk is known as a major means of public relations communication by business companies. Through SNS, Hope Channel Korea aims to create a network for young people who want to connect with other believers. The channel is currently using a team of young volunteers to create content targeted for youth, including mentor groups, which will allow users to receive free and instant advice. One of the main strategies to maximize the channel's reach is to increase the number of followers through various cultural events and performances. After laying the groundwork for youth, Hope Channel Korea will go on to produce and distribute Christian content for adults.
Coming up, humanitarians respond to the effects of a severe winter in Mongolia.
But up next, see a visual report of the recovery efforts in Ecuador after last month's devastating earthquake.
Do you have sitting disease?
I don't know.
Do you sit all day?
Yes.
Are you known to your friends as a sitaholic?
Yes.
Do you sit all day at work, then get home and sit even more?
I do.
Data from the National Health and Nutrition Examination shows that more than half of people sit at least 6 hours a day. This sitting time has been linked to metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and a whole slew of other problems. If you've been sitting for more than an hour, you've been sitting too long.
We've got to get up.
By cutting your sitting time in half, you can increase your life expectancy by up to 2 years. Find ways you can stand more during your day. Pace when walking on your phone. Have walk and talk meetings. Set an alarm to remind you to walk every hour. Stand up and start living longer today.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Elena et je suis en train de parler en français. Il y a beaucoup de vidéos très chouettes, mais pas beaucoup sont traduites. Vous pouvez aider.
Join the Amara translation and caption team today. Amara is easy to learn and fun. You can volunteer in your free time. Join this community today and provide great content in your language.
Welcome back.
And now we have more news from our global church community.
The Adventist Development and Relief Agency in Ecuador and other ADRA agencies around the world have worked with National Relief Services to address the needs of residents who experienced the 7.8 magnitude earthquake that rocked the nation last month. National officials have called the quake is, quote, the worst tragedy in 60 years, end quote. The results of the earthquake killed more than 650 people and injured nearly 28,000. ADRA Ecuador sent this report, which shares a glimpse into the agency's humanitarian efforts.
As residents in Mongolia, especially those who live in nomadic cultures, face the effects of the nation's most recent severe winter, locally known as a Zud, Adventist humanitarians are providing means for residents to have food. A Zud is when winter becomes so severe that it leads to the death of hundreds of thousands of livestock due to their inability to graze off the frozen land. It's estimated that 555,000 animals have died, and the numbers are expected to rise to 1.5 million this month. Locals depend on livestock as a source of income and food to provide for their families. The Adventist Development and Relief Agency in Mongolia has responded by distributing food packages to some of the nation's most vulnerable residents.
Local officials on the French island of Guadeloupe say an arson is to blame for a fire that damaged the Baie Mahault Adventist Church last month. The April 17th fire damaged part of the church's roof, a room that housed musical instruments, an organ, and the church's sound system. Fortunately, there were no fatalities and no reported injuries. According to the church's pastor, Jacques Bibrac, this was the first time any Adventist church on the island has been damaged due to arson. But the pastor said, quote, "In spite of what has happened, our members know that we are God's children and we have to move forward, finding good solutions to rebuild the church and continue serving the community." He went to say, quote, "The Seventh-day Adventist Church is well respected here. They recognize our values and what we do for the children, young people, and society in general."
And finally in the news this week, a small middle school in the U.S. state of California last week was awarded by one of the nation's leading providers of digital content for students. The Oakhurst Seventh-day Adventist Christian School was named as a grant recipient from Discovery Education and the Nutrients for Life Foundation due to the results of a nationwide earth science contest. Oakhurst was among 5 runner-up schools that were recognized out of the 30,000 entries for the Let It Grow contest, which was an initiative that offered middle school students the chance to develop a deeper understanding for the importance of soil. Winners were selected based on their answers to soil-related questions and by a tally of daily online votes for participants. The school will receive a $1,000 agricultural grant and a Nutrients for Life Foundation prize pack. Oakhurst plans to use the grant to invest in soil and plants in order to build up its garden boxes. Sonia Reeves, principal of Oakhurst Adventist Christian School, said, quote, "Being as we are a small rural community, learning how to grow things is important."
We'll be right back with our weekly features.
King Herod had arrested some that belonged to the church and was planning to persecute them. When Herod had James put to death with a sword and saw how the Jews had approved of this, he seized Peter also.
Peter was guarded by 4 squads of 4 soldiers each. We were very concerned for his safety, and the church prayed earnestly for him.
The night before Herod was going to bring him to trial, Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers, bound by chains, and sentries stood guard at the entrance. Suddenly, an angel of the Lord appeared, and light shone into his cell. The angel struck Peter on the side to wake him up, and the chains fell off his wrists. As he was instructed, Peter followed the angel out of the prison, past all of the guards, to the gate of the city.
Many people had been praying together in the house of Mary, the mother of John. As a servant in the house, I heard knocking on the door. With caution, I went to open the door, and to my surprise, there stood Peter. We had just been praying earnestly for him in prison.
Once again, united prayer had worked, and the Word of God continued to spread and flourish.
Welcome back. When Charmaine Jackson visited the Pathways Mega Clinic, she was expecting to get only some much-needed dental work, but her experience far exceeded her expectations.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church in North America sent this report from Los Angeles.
The reason why I'm here is because my Obamacare, my Medicare, doesn't cover what I need for my teeth. It doesn't cover everything.
Charmaine Jackson came to the Los Angeles Convention Center this morning looking for help with a dental problem. What she got was a lot more than she bargained for.
When I got here, I found out I was in heaven. I got here at 5 a.m. Lines and lines and lines of people. They offer medical, dental, vision. I heard they do hair, skin, nails, massages. There's people walking around right now giving away free lunch. I kid you not. I mean, I've went to some events, but never like this.
One of the most unexpected parts of Charmaine's experience today, her free haircut, manicure, and pedicure.
I think I'm a new person.
Today I'm a part of the pedicure area. There's 4 of us here. There's 12 actually that are doing haircuts. We have 1 barber and 11 stylists. Jesus washed people's feet, and here I am doing something just like that. And I don't know, it gives me warm, fuzzy feelings thinking about that.
I'm feeling great. I feel like I'm heaven. If this is what heaven is, I can't wait to go.
Some of the patients here today are still having a hard time believing the experience is 100% free of charge.
Do you know what's really good about it? You don't have to pay anything. And you know what they say about free? Ain't nothing for free. You gotta do something to get something. You know what you gotta do? Get down here and stand in line. That's it. That's a wonderful experience.
Charmaine still plans to get her teeth taken care of, but for now, she's just soaking in the good vibes.
Lots of love and smiles and laughs and happy people that you don't really get on a regular basis. This event right here is very special.
And finally, for today's program, let's turn to Ashley Chisholm for a look at Adventist history. This week, learn about the first issue of the Advent Review and Sabbath Herald that was printed in the U.S. state of New York.
Welcome to This Week in Adventist History. On May 1st, 1966, the constituency of the Allegheny Conference in the North American Division voted to divide into two new conferences, Allegheny East Conference and Allegheny West Conference. Approved for reorganization by the Columbia Union Conference in July 1966, the two new conferences, which still exist today, held their first constituency meetings in November 1966 and officially began operating on January 1st, 1967. The first president for Allegheny East was W.A. Thompson, and for Allegheny West, Walter Merrill Starks. However, Starks was soon called to organize and direct the very first General Conference Stewardship Department. And on May 6, 1852, the Advent Review and Sabbath Herald, commonly referred to as the Review, began to be printed in Rochester, New York, after moving from its previous location in Saratoga Springs, New York. The Review was published at the Rochester location through October 30th, 1855, and then moved to Battle Creek, Michigan. In that first issue printed in Rochester, James White, the editor of the Review, had something to say that is very pertinent today. We think that the past will give some idea of our present and future work. Thus far in the progress of the cause, but little has been accomplished without persevering effort. In this respect, we may safely judge of the present and future by the past. Today, we can safely judge that the persevering effort needed in the past is still needed today as we proclaim the second coming of Christ. And that was This Week in Adventist History.
Thanks for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
In the meantime, join our global conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can connect with other Adventists worldwide through more stories, photos, and videos. Visit Facebook/Adventist News, Twitter @Adventist Church, and Instagram @Adventist Church.
Our good news for this week comes from the book of Psalms, chapter 94, verses 18 and 19. The passage says, "When I said my foot is slipping, your unfailing love, O Eternal One, held me up. When anxiety overtakes me, worries are many, your comfort lightens my soul."
Amen. That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.